Well, I think we first got interested in Let's Think work when I came on a maths training course myself when I was a deputy. And I came to the maths course thinking that I was going to get a little bit of inspiration of another way of looking at maths. And found myself at the beginning feeling very resistant. It was kind of different, and in fact the whole group felt a little resistant. Where were the learning intentions and why didn't it look like what we already knew? By the end of the course it felt like we were sort of born again Let's Think people, because it was a whole new approach that actually was fantastic. It opened something up, and because it's such a practical course, because you teach us and then we do it with the children, you kind of really, you get to understand it in a way that's very different. And the more I did, the more I liked not just what it did for the children, but how it made my teaching change. So when then I went into headship, it was something that I wanted to bring in for everybody. And maths was my first way in, but literacy's also inspired me. So at the moment we're Let's Think in literacy and came in maths and thinking about science. Teachers in the school are developing their teaching because of the way that we've been involved with Let's Think. Because what I liked most about the came, I took a couple of elements out of each bit that have made us put those aspects of teaching into our teaching rubric. So for instance, in the maths, what I love is the way that the teachers don't, the questioning's changed. They repeat what children say rather than put it into their own words. They find ways of asking questions to open up the situation so that the children answer it for themselves. And what I love about that is that you can see the teacher doing less work and the children doing more, which means that they're learning more. In literacy, in Let's Think, it feels like they introduce other elements as well. For instance, that moment where they ask a question and there's a pause, and it's kind of created a whole ethos in our school where everybody has an answer, so we will wait. And it's kind of uncomfortable at the beginning, and teachers find it a little uncomfortable. And then the child either has an answer, or if the pressure feels too great, we'll let them go back to talk partners, consider it, and then have an answer. But there's none of that kind of bit where teachers used to say, I'll come back to you, and then never really do. It's really about there is an answer, and it doesn't matter if your answer is wrong, because actually we're going to learn whether you're saying something amazing or a mistake, because actually it's going to move us all into another place anyway. So we take out the key elements of what we've learnt from both Let's Think in literacy and in CAME maths, that because we don't always do those lessons, they're not the sort of lesson you teach every day in a school, but the key elements of the literacy or the maths, the bits that we feel have made our teaching more open, more interactive, more the child experiencing it. Those are the bits we've taken out. And even if we're not doing a Let's Think lesson, they're in our teaching rubric, and we use that as a part of our ethos, our approach to teaching. I think in maths in particular, although in literacy as well, because it's broken down very clearly, the Let's Think programmes, because it makes you think about your own thinking, it makes you have to engage in the subject matter to understand it better. In maths in particular, it's an area that I've always wanted to join up with you more, because I think whenever I look at where an area is not going well in a school, you know, we could think it's about planning, but actually often it is about the teacher's subject knowledge. To me, Let's Think is really important because it raises the kind of calibre of what we're doing in our education. So it is about good teachers, and having good teachers in front of the children who can take on those principles and use those approaches. And it is about having a clarity about your planning and a good subject knowledge. But to me, having a thread of Let's Think gives another notch. It almost does the mastery level that they talk about in the new assessment without levels. It's about, you know, using and applying and deeper thinking and understanding in a different way. So I kind of see cognitive acceleration as that mastery element, in a way, of the new curriculum, because it does that level. It is the deeper thinking that they're asking for within mastery.
I think it's really changed how teachers question and think about children's learning, and that they need to really start with the concrete and lots of visual models, but then give opportunities for the children to use reasoning and to work in a more abstract manner. The staff absolutely love it, and one of our teachers has gone on to do his dissertation for his masters on Let's Think and thinking styles. So it's really begun to change how we teach across the school. It's given them the chance to work together, and the biggest thing we've noticed is that the children who are normally very quiet in other lessons talk a lot and come up with the best ideas because they haven't got such set ideas in their minds about mathematics or English. I think pupils, the benefits of what they get out of Let's Think lessons is that they get the chance to reason through problems, work with other children that they don't normally work with because they're in different ability groups. They get to do mathematics that they haven't done before and apply their learning, and they gain in confidence. We found that, especially in mathematics, that children can work out those questions because they're a bit more resilient from going through Let's Think lessons and the struggle in those lessons, that they don't give up as easily when they try those questions on the papers. The teachers have used the questioning skills they've learnt and the theory behind Let's Think and CAME in all their lessons across every subject, and that's something they really feel that they've benefited from throughout the curriculum.